We're good to go.
Good, go. Okay, Dana, I guess in your absence, I'll kick off the meeting. Can you hear us? You guys are good, Adam and Dana?
Yes, please do, Mike. Thank
Okay,
you.
no problem. We have quorum here. Oh, we got to go out now. There we go. We have quorum. I will start with the land acknowledgement. Oh, heavens there, folks, hold just a sec. I've hit my 60s. There we go. The mayor and council wish to acknowledge the town of Fort Smith is located within Treaty 8 territory. Treaty 8 territory also encompasses the traditional homelands of the Salt River First Nation, Tabatid and Isaluyane Nation, and Indigenous Métis people of Fort Smith. These nations have maintained stewardship of their sacred lands throughout the generations. We honor your knowledge, teachings, traditions, and the land. We are mindful that colonization has not been kind. We respectfully recognize our generational histories and commit to strive for unity in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. So with that, I will hand the chair over to Councillor Tuckey.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Keiser. To confirm that we have quorum. Can I get a motion to?
Good evening. We apologize for being late.
Can I get a motion to set the agenda be adopted as amended, to add a delegation and to add an expression of interest in accordance to Section 8, Council Business C, appointments.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Keiser, seconded by Councillor Karasik. All in favor? So carried.
So if the two of you would like to just push the button on the mic in front of you, you don't have to move forward to it, but it'll just help everyone hear you.
Moving on, we have the delegation with the RCMP. The floor is yours, sir.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, we apologize for being late. We got delayed for something that we couldn't think of. I'm Constable Georgia with RCMP Detachment Fort Smith. I'm new here, and I'm glad to meet you all. Next to me is Constable Irving Magali. She's in training, and again, I will have to apologize for not knowing what's the order of the session. Do we speak first? We wait for our turn?
You have the floor right now.
Understood.
Oh, you can just push the button, let go.
Right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, just hit the highlight.
So is everybody having the document? I'm gonna just go and go ahead with the highlights. The notable occurrences of the month. We had on the 5th of July, members responded to a report as far about the residents. It was, I'm not going to give specifics because the investigation is still ongoing. And the same thing on July 9th, response of the members for an arson at a residence, investigation ongoing. On July 31st, members responded to multiple early morning complaints about the same individual, including a break in at the local business where an overnight staff was assaulted. When located, the individual assaulted multiple responding RCMP members during his arrest. Charges for assaulting a police officer resisting arrest, attempt to disarm a police officer, break and enter with intent, and assault with weapon are pending. Yeah. Members suffer injuries, but nothing serious, fortunately, and the subject was not injured in the arrest. There were a total of 32 calls for service related to missing persons and or well-being checks. Those type of calls are typically very labor intensive, and they have the potential to be serious, and a significant amount of effort is put at the outset of the complaint being received. All 32 calls had a positive outcome. We had 15 calls for service relating to assaults and 3 calls for service involving assault with weapon or causing bodily harm. 7 of those files are still on investigation pending charges. And the detachment responded to 7 complaints under the Mental Health Act involving individuals who had threatened to harm themselves. Those type of complaints also are very time sensitive and require immediate action to mitigate the potential harm. Typically results in the RCMP apprehending the individual and escorting them to hospital for assessment by medical professionals. And there was an instance in the month of July where RCMP members were required to guard a mental health apprehension at the hospital. We have the numbers here if you are interested in discussing it. Looks like this month we had 23 assaults, not including sexual assaults. The number is higher if you compare that with the current month of the previous year. And I will be able to answer, if I can, questions from the members. Or if I don't, I'll be more than happy to take notes of your questions and relay them to the detachment commander, Sergeant Jacobson, who unfortunately was not able to attend today. He's in, of course, in River for a few days. Questions?
I've got one here. What's our current complement of the detachment now? Some new people, what are we up to?
Yes, sir. So in this moment, we have 8 members, I believe, including with the detachment commander. One of the members is new, like you met her, that's Way Irving. She's still in training. We have another member that's currently in partial schedule. She's in a progressive return to work. And we have member having been caught up with new firearms training. We are going to receive the new pistols, the Glock 45, and every member has to go through 5 days of training, and another member in vacation. So we still struggling to cover the shifts, but it's better than before.
Yeah, that's nice to hear.
We expecting, yes sir, we expecting to have a new corporal sometime during September, and another member will be transferring in hopefully by the end of September. So we're looking up to a better coverage and thus better service provided to the community.
Thank you.
Yes sir.
Councilor Karasek?
Thank you, Councillor Tucky. I have a couple questions.
Yes sir.
One is with regards to the 2 arson investigations. Is that one property or 2 separate properties?
Yes sir, there were 2 separate properties. One of them was affected on July 5th during the night, and the other one, I responded to that one personally on July 9th. Limited property to damage. We believe, I'm not going to be able, like I said, unfortunately, to give details about it. So the investigation is ongoing, but to answer your questions, 2 separate properties.
And my second question has to do with causing a disturbance mischief. There were 49 reported incidents this past month compared to the month from the previous year of 31. That's like 20 increase. Any idea on why that number is significantly higher?
Okay, so I understand properly. You were asking about mischief, obstructive enjoyment of property?
No, disturbance, causing a disturbance mischief total,
49.
49 compared to 31 the year before.
Yes, sir. And you are asking why the number is increased?
Yeah.
Okay,
significant.
I can. First of all, I'm going to be able to give you a limited response to your question because I'm new and I started here in August. But I can tell lately we had multiple people they were displaced from Wrigley, and I don't have in this moment a number with the files involving people from that community, but that added up multiple calls to our calls for service. That would be a justification for the increased numbers.
Makes sense, thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We are happy to be here and we appreciate the invitation.
You guys are free to go.
We're free to go, because it's just two of us on duty and we're expecting calls, so. You have a nice evening. And
Sweet.
next time.
Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, moving on with the agenda, can I get a motion that the minutes of the regular meeting of July 21st, 2026 be adopted as presented? Councillor Carsa, seconded by Councillor Cox. All in favor? So carried. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Let's see, what's next? Declaration of financial interest. Seeing none. Moving on for protective services, I'll give the floor to Director McNabb.
Thank you, Councillor Tucky. I'll give a quick overview. You guys have my monthly report in front of you. July was a very busy month for protective services, both in call volume and some other items. So 37 calls for the month of July, 6 were fire calls. As indicated by our CMT, a couple were related to possible arson, ongoing investigation, as well as 31 ambulance calls. So between the two, both of those portfolios were over the 5-year average ambulance by quite a significant amount. I think that we could attribute that to, again, the evacuation and some of the events that occurred around that. 5 training events through the month of July. Generally, it's hard to get training done over the summer months. I was away as well as many members were away, so we were pretty thin, but still we did our regular weekly training, which went really well and was considering well attended. We will be looking at running another EMR course in the fall with new members getting their EMR certs, as well as recertifying some folks. And then we are looking to an NFPA 1001 fire training year coming up in January, and that's in line with our semi-annual approach to that. As far as general updates, we did have a number of evacuees in the community, nearly 90 of them, so a big shout out to the folks that were involved in my absence, including Director House and Deputy Fire Chief Spencer Porter. They both did a great job, as well as volunteers in helping to set up, volunteers that helped throughout the evacuation, all of the businesses and everybody else that was involved, again, in my absence. People did an amazing job. I'm really proud of Fort Smith as a community and this organization for all the work that was done. We also had a wildland urban interface deployment during my absence, so we sent 3 of our structural firefighters, as well as our new Type 2 structural protection trailer and our Type 6 engine to the community of Fort Simpson, where they stayed for 18 days on deployment. And based on what occurred, the equipment that they set up significantly improved the outcomes in that community. Entire neighborhoods were saved, and there's very clear indications of where our structural protection was set up and the fires that burned right to where that wetline was, as well as truck operations that they were doing, putting out spot fires in and around neighborhoods that were impinged by the wildfires. So those 3 members did an excellent job, and they've been highly regarded by other people on the incident. I'm really proud of that. It proved that the equipment that we purchased works well as all of our PPE that we have sourced. Certainly we'll be doing after action review of both of those, both the use of our emergency management plan to host an evacuee community, and we will be doing an after action review of the work we did with ECC around the wildland urban interface deployment. But by all indications, both went really, really well. Land and development, generally business as usual. Stats are there, likewise with business license reporting. Our bylaw officer was one of the folks that was deployed as a structural firefighter, so there was a period of time when the lands officer was covering off and doing some work for bylaw enforcement. And then upon Dane's return, certainly animal control was the major priority with a lot of public outreach about concern with loose animals. Emergency management, nothing's really changed there. Again, we did use our emergency management plan, and every time we do, it's an excellent opportunity to review how it works and improve for the next time that we might use it. Occupational health and safety, we did not do a meeting in the month of July. Again, we were just so short-staffed across the organization and I was gone, so we'll be doing our next meeting this week for the month of August. And then for capital projects, I've updated a couple of these. The one big update is that we have one of our fire training facilities in community. It landed a few days ago, and it's being stored out at the landfill while we come up with a final resting place for it. But it's very exciting. It looks really good. It will provide a lot of training opportunities for the fire department. The build was excellent. We're really excited about it. And that's the one that we will be using for doing things like search and rescue, roof ventilation, rescue out of a window, things of that nature. The second piece of equipment that was also ordered was the burn can. It's a flashover trainer. It is almost done. I just did a virtual tour of it today, and it's going in for paint. It should be arriving in community in 2 weeks. So those two pieces of equipment will allow us to train and meet all the requirements of NFPA 1001. And in fact, we can do all of our certification in community now. We no longer need to rely on Hay River, although we certainly will use any opportunity we can to do cross-training with other departments, but it gives us more flexibility in doing that kind of work in community. That is it, so if there are any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Director McNabb. Councilor Fox?
Thanks. Yeah, great work for everybody on the evacuation stuff. I saw some very positive comments online. Yeah, just a quick question. I was just wondering if there's ETA for the public distribution of the animal control bylaw.
You got it.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Cox. So just before I left, we had finished the updates, and as soon as I can, I've been trying to catch up. I was away for a period of time. I'll be sending them out, so it is ready to go. As discussed, we'll be sending them to the Animal Society, local animal commercial entities like Northern Town Supply, and we will also be consulting with Salt River First Nation as part of our MSA because it will be a change of bylaw. Yeah, that will be going out by end of week. Thanks.
Councilor Betnall?
About the speed zone. Oops. 40 is quite slow. Like, you know, you gotta wake up an hour earlier just to get to work, but it is quite slow, and there's a lot of people that have been commenting on how it should have been 45 instead of 40, like it's more reasonable. I'm just wondering if there's any way that can be changed.
Councilor McNabb?
Thank you, Councillor Benwell. So, Mayor and Council approved an integrated transportation master plan, and in that master plan, it identified 40 kilometers as the speed limit for the community, with areas that would be 30 kilometers an hour. And in fact, 40 kilometers an hour as the speed limit in the town of Fort Smith has been by law for almost as long as I've been alive. I can't remember how old that bylaw is, but that's actually been the speed limit identified in town bylaw for decades, and was approved by Mayor and Council in the integrated transportation master plan. And I believe that all the signage has already been purchased and is in community for 40 kilometers an hour, and has been installed on the highway corridor as well.
Councilor Benwell?
I know it hasn't been 40 kilometers an hour throughout the town forever, because there has been 50 kilometers. And that's what I've always seen. But I'm thinking like 40 is quite slow, and I'm thinking 45 is a reasonable speed to go with. I mean, there's places where it's 30 and it's going even slower. Like grandmas can walk faster than that.
Mr. Chairman, if I could,
Go ahead.
I would be cautious about taking fairly quick steps to revert that decision, given the amount of investment and time. But if it's the wish of council at some point in the future, it's a motion of council directing us to review it, then that would be a first step. But given that sounds like it's been fairly recently that we've been making sure that it's been enforced and that the traffic plan's been instituted, it would be a fairly costly step to revert quickly. So it would take some discussion and some review.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, I did not laugh at that. But yeah, I would suggest wait till it's instituted and in place and settles in. And if it's still a concern in the community, that we take a review at that point and consider it. That'd be my suggestion.
Councillor Bell.
Yeah, I understand that, like, we're trying it out now, and it seems to be a pretty slow pace, but I could see in Yellowknife that it's 40 because their roads are quite bad. That's reasonable, but for here, with straight roads and that, I mean, 45 would be much better, but yeah, thank you for that.
Councillor Carrison.
Yeah, just a couple easier questions. Just to confirm, all the units that we have loaned out to other communities are now back in town?
Director McNabb.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Karashak. So we did deploy a Type 6 engine and a Type 2 trailer. They're both back in community. We have rehabbed the Type 2 trailer and have identified some missing equipment, and as part of the Wildland Urban Interface Agreement, we will be getting those pieces of equipment replaced, but none of it's critical to the operation of the trailer, so it is back in town and a usable resource.
And my second question had to do with the fire training grounds. Any update with talks with Aurora College to secure a potential location for that?
Director McNabb.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Karashak. So we have reached out a few times. The point of contact that we have been working with, I believe, is on leave, so we're working with them actively. We're also still pursuing the possibility of other lands that have been applied on through ECC Lands Department and have a meeting to discuss that outcome.
Any further discussions, questions for Director McNabb? Seeing none, you're a free man. Moving on with the agenda, can I get a motion on DPA 039-26? Councillor Cox.
I'll move the DPA -039-26 submitted by Stephen Zeman for the operation of an outdoor recreation equipment rentals business from Lot 1, Plan 220, 90 McDougal Road, Fort Smith, be approved.
I have seconded. Deputy Mayor Keiser, yeah. Open for discussion. Councillor Cougar.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It doesn't really, again, we need to look at our processes for how these are reviewed and things like this. It isn't clear whether, like when I read has been received, and that indicates operations include outdoor recreation equipment rentals. To me, when you're renting things, it's, in a lot of cases, people going to pick it up. Or is this gonna be solely a delivery type rental, program? Cause if it is people going there to pick it up, it is gonna have significant impact on, traffic and, potential, nuisance to, neighbors and things like that. So just, I think we need a little more clarity on, the definition of the rental service aspect. Again, is it a pickup or are they looking at, somebody calls, they deliver the units?
Councillor Carson.
And to build on Councillor Couvette, I was going to add to that because it does say that there will be an increase in vehicle and foot traffic. But do we have any anticipated amount of increase? I know in previous applications, people said it could be 1 or 2 times a week, but I didn't notice any type of estimate in terms of increase in vehicle and foot traffic for picking up the equipment.
Councillor Fox.
Thanks. Yeah, I think, I don't know, personally, I don't have a concern in here. It looks like it's just small equipment, you know, they're picking up bikes, camping gear, maybe a canoe. I mean, there's other small businesses that have the same kind of traffic. I think we have the means, because these go through renewals, like I've brought this up before and we've talked about it, if there's potential for traffic problems, I think that's a great thing, because then we can flag it next time, and if he has enough traffic to be a problem, then all of a sudden they can afford to move into a commercial space. So I think, yeah, I think starting off, small scale, I think we want to encourage this as much as possible to support small business. And if the time comes where they grow, then fantastic, we can deal with that problem when it comes to it. That's a great problem to do.
Thank you, Councillor Kruger, Deputy Mayor Keiser.
Just, yeah, to add to Carl's, I guess, I know the place well, it's my neighbor, it's 2 houses down from mine. It used to be a church, so Sundays that parking lot area on the left used to be full of vehicles. They've got extra parking on that particular lot, so from my knowing the site, knowing the location, I would support Carl's approach that this isn't a spot that hasn't seen vehicles before. It was the Baptist church for many, many, many years. I think we got to give this guy a chance to see what he can do and bring some business into Portsmouth.
Councillor Tuckey, Mayor Ferguson has her hand up.
Mayor Ferguson.
Thank you. No, you guys kind of covered the points that I was gonna mention, so I'm all right. Did you not hear me?
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Yes,
okay.
we did hear you. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion? So carried. And moving on, gonna get a mover for DPA 040-26. Councillor Cox.
I'll move the DPA -040-26 submitted by Joel McGeezy, if I have that pronunciation right, for the operation of a mobile vehicle detailing business from Lot 3, Plan 220, 86B, McDougal Road, Portsmouth, be approved.
Seconded by Councillor Couveret. Floor is open for discussion. Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion for 26-068?
I'll move the council move in camera.
We're at corporate services.
Okay, that's what I thought, that's why I was confused.
Oh, I got the wrong one here. Okay.
Corporate services report.
Okay, moving on to corporate services. I'll have the floor to the director.
Chairman? Mr. Chairman, members of council, I'll remind you that I am in the acting director position, we believe up until next Monday. So that's the first item on the report. New corporate services director is scheduled to start work August 17th. So we're pretty excited about that. It'll take a week to 2 weeks to start the basic onboarding process, but we'll try to get her up to speed as quickly as possible and then get on to some financial key items that we are short on right now. Second item, good timing, announcing that the Director of Community Services, Lauren Howe, has been offered and has accepted the full-time position of Director of Community Services. So if you could join me and just say welcome. Congratulations to Lauren. So she's performed, I think everybody would say, admirably in the role. And so it's a credit that she's taken it over full-time. So it's good to see. Thanks. And that it didn't even have anything to do with the way she handled the evacuation hosting. So, there you go. Which was also great to see. On property taxes, I've identified in here that we have the property tax bills out and they are being collected, and that we've identified a little bit of information about the senior citizens and disabled persons property tax relief, simply as an information process there to the public, members of council as well, but mostly to the public. We get a lot of questions about that process and how it's broken down. So we try to identify the breakdown in here as we go through it. Payments in lieu of taxes and similar revenues. The similar revenues we've identified because we do understand that Salt River, for example, would prefer us not to use that wording, payment in lieu of taxes or grant in lieu of taxes. But the payment and grants and the similar revenues form a fairly significant portion of our property tax-based revenue sources. We have not got those bills out yet. We are getting them out right now. So they are behind schedule, but cash-wise, we are okay. So we're getting those invoices out. We'll follow up on them shortly. Audited 2025 statements. We still do not have the final audited statements. They were based on Q4 reports. It is going to take a slight correction of the audited statements that you approved here at council back in May. I don't think it'll be significant in any way because they will largely affect some of the capital reported items and how those numbers are reported. So it should not be a material effect to what you saw, but we'll know when it's done. Capital projects and grants, we are working towards getting on top of those as far as the changes in management, making sure that we get the numbers correct and sorted out in the grant systems and the reporting. Variance report is an area that we have not been on top of without a corporate services director. Solid waste, we are working on some pricing structures to accommodate some of the concerns that we've seen on commercial solid waste pickup collection. As some of our larger waste producers had concerns, it may have been mitigated. Some of those concerns might have actually been around significant workload based on the Wrigley residents being in town and overloading some of the systems. So again, it's always the good idea to take a deep breath and try to see how some things pan out before you make decisions quickly on them. So we will be reviewing that in the future. Water license renewal, as you may or may not be aware of, we are undergoing a water license renewal for a 15-year water license. Project manager is AECOM. It's currently the information on the project is being distributed to affected parties and along the water course for seeking feedback. It's a normal process, and we don't expect much feedback on that because we are dealing with the same facilities that we have in the last 15 years primarily. So there's not a great deal of change. Key thing here is 2027 budget planning. We've tried to outline a budget schedule for the coming year. keeping in line that our legislation asks for our operating and capital budgets to be completed by December 31st. Recognize that we've had permissions from the territorial government in the past to stretch that into March, and we've had a tradition of stretching the capital budget into March as well. This might be a little aggressive. We believe that this is doable, and that we should be able to maintain this type of schedule, recognizing that it's very dependent on the types of discussions we have at council. That may allow it to go forward, may not. That's just the way it works. I think you're all familiar with that. The primary advantage of, one, the legislation asks us to meet these deadlines, but the primary advantage of meeting those deadlines is that on the capital side, if we have our capital budget in place by December 31st, it allows us to get bids out early in the construction process. So if you get your bids out early, you have a better chance of getting commitments from contractors early and locking up their resources, getting competitive bids, and actually getting bids in some cases. When we get bids out in the middle of the season, it's not surprising that sometimes we don't get bids and we don't get competitive bids because those resources by June, July are already locked up. So that's a primary advantage of doing so. And also from the staff side, if we manage to get this budget approved by that December deadline, it allows us to focus on other things leading into the start of the year rather than tagging and lagging onward. So that's part of it. And I recognize that these are goals that are reaching, and they are goals. Okay, and at the same time, as I also see that we haven't been traditionally updating our fees and charges bylaw every year. We have updated it 2023, and we updated it this past year, but there is some language changes that we should be updating on it. But there's also, if you are updating the fees and charges every year marginally, then you don't tend to have the big jumps that cause a lot of consternation amongst people. So if we do it every year systematically, it's marginally increased and it's more effective. So that's the goal, barring any objections from council, either to the schedule or to the content. And again, from the staff side, it's a working process. Okay. And I believe, Mr. Chairman, that's all I've got for the report. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Director. Councilor Cougarette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is great to see a budget calendar this early in the year. I know 9 years on council, every year we're middle of November, we're packing away trying to crunch numbers and everything else. I would highly recommend that council accept this budget calendar plan and that we stick to it. I think it's great that we're actually talking about the 2027 budget in August.
Oh, the pressure's on now.
Any further discussion? Okay, carrying on.
Council paid list.
Council paid list.
Do we have a motion for?
No,
No.
it's just that they have questions.
Yeah.
If there's no questions, we can move on.
Okay, moving on to correspondence. No discussion. We'll go to the briefing notes for the Alder's motion.
This briefing note is given for information, and Director House is here to speak on it if council has questions.
Any questions? Seeing none, moving on. Briefing, no donation request. I need a motion. Councillor Cox.
I will move that council approve the waiver of the Harry Sudom Ballpark Tournament rental fee for the Fitz Palmer Slow Pitch Tournament, September 11th, 13th, 2026, with an estimated value of $363. The donation of a town of Fort Smith promotional gift basket with an estimated value of $78. And a monetary contribution towards Fitz Palmer Slow Pitch Tournament in the amount to be determined by council.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Kluber. Discussion? Councillor Kersman.
Yeah, my big bugaboo, I hate motions that say amount to be determined. Does anyone recall what we financially gave them last year, not in kind?
We did not give them anything. Give me one moment.
Lauren, do you have an idea?
Unsure on the contribution amount last year, but I do know that historically the Community Services Department has come up with an amount of $250 historically when amounts are not actually defined.
And just a question, Mr. Chairman, Lauren, is that over and above the waiver of fees?
The cost of the fee would be that $363.
There was no donation made to the Fitzpalmers last year.
Did they ask?
No monetary donation, sorry.
I didn't think so, but I wasn't sure. Councillor Carasat.
I would support this motion if it was amended to say $250.
It's meant to be amended.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? So is that an amendment?
I mean, I'm assuming that we would treat that as a, do we just insert the dollar figure, or do you want a full amendment to the motion?
It can go either way. I did make a line there for the 200, so if we could just state that amended to add an amount to the motion of $250.
Accepted by the motion.
Accepted by the motion as it is.
Councillor Cox?
What she said.
Who was the seconder?
Councillor Cooper.
Councillor Kluber? Yeah. Okay. All in favor? So carried. Council business, bylaws and policies. Keep going on. We're around table with Councillor Cox.
Mr. Chairman, I believe we have a motion for appointment to the Development Appeal Board.
That comes after. Yep.
My apologies.
Yeah, thanks. I don't have much to add. I've been out in the bush for the last couple of weeks, so I'm a little bit, getting reconnected here, so. Nothing to add for me.
Councillor Kluber.
It's been a quiet month. Nothing to add in the way of council business. I would, however, like to express condolences on the passing of Gary. During the evacuation, I became very familiar with a completely different person. A man with a great heart and things like that, and will be dearly missed.
Thank you, Councillor Bennell.
No, I don't have anything to add.
Councillor Carasat.
Just one thing, I'd like to express my displeasure with the information that I'm hearing that the teacher education program with Aurora College is being moved, whole kit and caboodle, to Yellowknife. They're slowly stripping, Yellowknife is slowly stripping away all the academic programs from our campus. And I think we as a town, in conjunction with the TLC, need to take a firmer stance. And if the teacher education program is being moved, and that's the information I have, then an equivalent academic program should be transferred back in to the Fort Smith Tabacha campus. So that's what I want to say for that.
Thank you, Councillor Carsack. Councillor Bate.
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. Thank you. I'd like to second what Councillor Carsack had to say there about the change in programming at Aurora College. I can understand some of the logic with moving it to Yellowknife. I know there was a struggle with getting practicums sometimes for students when they're in Fort Smith, and access to more schools there might make some sense. And I think the reasonable response should be to increase the programming that we have here in the community. So that's maybe seeing an expansion of the NRTP program, more heavy equipment type stuff. As you guys know, the projects I've been involved in, we're desperate for people here on the Mackenzie Highway project. We're going to see more stuff related to the major projects here in the north, and I would like to see Aurora College be at the forefront of training people to work on those projects, because as it is, we're fighting for them to hire local people, and we're still seeing on these projects that they're bringing in people from the south to work on them. And so, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you in person for the next meeting.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Keiser.
Nothing particular to add this week. It's been a quiet summertime for me, but it's working on the house, so I'll have something hopefully next meeting.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to send out my gratitude to the community of Fort Smith. We had, like you guys had heard, over 90 evacuees in the community from Wrigley, and the overwhelming response from everyone that had to be here and weather it for almost a month was that the community did an amazing job with supplies and giving out things that members may not have had, and that their overall experience and here in the community was welcoming. And so I just want to send huge thanks to community Lauren and Spencer. They did a fantastic job. And I'm really happy that the community, when they went back to Wrigley, had nothing but positive things to say about Fort Smith. And to what Councillor Carsack just mentioned about Aurora College, yesterday TLC did meet specifically with respect to that, the matter of Aurora College, and we do have a plan going forward to advocate for Fort Smith and about the programming here, because we also do not want to see academic programming leaving our community without anything to replace it with. It's been a slow, cut by a bunch of knives, and slowly seeing things being taken out of our community. So we're, as a leadership committee, an organization, we're actively trying to figure out a response to what we see happening there. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. And I don't have anything to say. I just got back from beautiful British Columbia, which is burning up. Needless to say, yeah. So I'll just leave it at that. Moving on to appointments, can I get a motion for 26-067? Councillor Cox.
I was just going to point out, Councillor Carrick has hand up, but I'll move that Brenda Johnson be appointed to the Development Appeal Board for a 2-year appointment ending on August 11th, 2028.
Seconded by Councillor Carsack. Discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion to go in camera 26-26068? Councillor Carsack.
I move that council move in camera in accordance with Cities, Towns and Villages Act, section 23B at, excuse me, at 7:52.
Seconder, Councillor Cox. All in favor? Carried.